you so much for taking the time to join. No worries, to join this webinar. My name is Konstantina, obviously. I'm a startup account manager at AWS. I have been with the team for 3 years now, always with a startup team. And since the beginning of this year, I moved to Athens and I look after startups and scale-ups in Central and Eastern Europe across verticals. We have gathered today essentially because Andre and I wanted to shed some light and share with you guys as well about the value of having you work with an AWS partner instead of doing things internally with your team. Why should someone like CloudHero get involved? What benefits are you going to get? And on top of this, I'm going to talk about some AWS programs that we have that you can claim benefits. So based on the use case and your need, you can choose which one is the best for you. So Andre, over to you.
Thank you so much, Konstantina. I look forward for your presentation. So my name is Andre, and I am one of the founders and the CEO of CloudHero. CloudHero, it's an advanced AWS partner. And basically we do DevOps consultancy and professional services. Most of our projects, sort of say, are to help companies like and people like yourself get started with the cloud and leverage all the programs and benefit that that AWS provides, and Konstantina will tell us about them shortly. So as an overview as an agenda, so like for the next 15 to 20 minutes, Konstantina will provide this overview about the programs and what AWS for Startup means. Then I'm going to have another presentation where I'm going to show you how we leverage those programs and help your startup succeed in the cloud. And at the end, we're going to have a short Q&A question. So Konstantina, I think we can begin.
Thank you. Can you give me permission to share my screen? I'm ready to share it. Ah, perfect. I can share it now. Let me know if you see the presentation mode. Thank you. Cool. So feel free to put your questions in the chat and we will address everything at the end. So the whole purpose of this session is to open this channel of communication, help you guys understand the value, and yeah, set some next steps and make you enable you to claim these benefits. So getting started with AWS Startup Edition. So as I said, I'm going to focus mainly on the AWS programs that we have available. Most of you probably know one of them. It has its own website on the AWS page. It's primarily for early stage startups, but there are more that you can learn about, especially when you work with us. So I don't want to overwhelm you. I have chosen 4 programs to mention, and I would like to stress the last 2 as the most important ones for this session. So without further ado, my name is Konstantina. As I said, I'm a startup account manager based in Athens. I have been in a team for 3 years. So I have I'd say I'm probably by now have a solid understanding of what most startups need. I have a helicopter view as probably I speak to 2 to 3 startups per day. So I still have so much to learn, but I have a good understanding of like your startups' priorities and how you like to work. So I stole this from my colleagues in Singapore because I really, really liked it. Essentially, these are some of the stages that a startup goes through. When I started at AWS, I focused primarily in early stage startups at the phase of inception up to ones that were working with accelerators, incubators, and pre-seed. And since then, I have worked with startups across various different stages. For this presentation, just because we wanted to narrow it down the focus. We focus on 3 stages that I have noted in this particular graph. And I want to stress especially the 3rd one about the product market fit stage. So how we, together with CloudHero, we can help you develop your product and be competitive in the market. Cool. So the first one here, well, you all know it, it's AWS Activate. For those who don't know it, AWS Activate is our most public startup program. Essentially, you can claim up to 100K in US dollars to use for the services. It's a workload agnostic program, and you can claim these benefits through an Activate provider. An Activate provider is a startup enabling organization that is partnering with AWS. They can be an accelerator, a university, an incubator, a VC, and any other sort of organization that helps startups grow. If you're working with one and they're not partnering with us, please introduce them and we'd like to work with them. Each provider has its own unique package of benefits based on the nature of their organization. So if you have received Activate credits from a certain provider, these credits are unique to this organization. Of course, on the website, you can see some terms and conditions about who qualifies, who doesn't qualify, and you can read, like, everything is there. There are no small letters. If you have questions, let us know, but it's pretty straightforward. In terms of the benefits, as I said, you get credits for 1 or 2 years for most workloads. There are some very small exceptions that most startups typically don't even use. Support credits, developer or business, based on the package that you had. Something that most startups don't know is that you get exclusive members only discounts across different vendors that you may be using. So HubSpot, we know startups love it, Slack as well, Stripe, and so many others. You can see them in the Activate console, which is a console dedicated for the Activate perks that you have. If you don't have that, we can send it to you afterwards. You can get templates, trainings, and other perks. So this doesn't have to do with when you work with a partner. This is a benefit directly from AWS, but thinking that you don't have to pay anything for 1 or 2 years for an infrastructure allows for budget to work with a partner and help you accelerate timelines, because essentially you have another couple of AWS savvy hands who can help you with day-to-day stuff when it comes to AWS, and you focus more on innovation. Moving on, because I can't wait to talk to you about the 3rd stage, but in this 2nd stage, we have a program that's called CTO Fellowship. Essentially, it's a 1-month immersion program for CTOs across EMEA, that you can dive deep into topics across several different technologies to help you accelerate your knowledge, awareness, and also to be able to build a network within other CTOs and also solutions architects. Again, this is a way to make your team, internal team, and leadership strong. And finally, where I would like to have the most attention, if I may, and I'm happy to take more questions, is the 3rd stage. We have 2 programs, AWS Startup Migrate. Essentially, this program is for startups who would like to migrate a workload from another cloud provider or on-premise or co-location to AWS. We provide some benefits for that. Of course, there are terms and conditions, and Jumpstart focuses more on projects that have to do with modernization. So we keep on improving and updating these programs over the time. But for now, I'm going to provide you with a presentation of the benefits that you can use. And these are the benefits for now and the requirements for now, and you can claim them if you want with the help of Andre from CloudHero and your AWS account manager. And your AWS account manager is always here for you to find the right program for you. But just wanted to highlight that these programs may evolve over time, but these are the benefits as they stand now. So AWS Start and Migrate is essentially a program to help you reduce the duplicative costs when you migrate a workload to AWS. Typically, you get up to 3 months of the size of the workload. So this is like an indicative amount of how many credits you get. For example, if your workload costs 2K per month, this particular one that you're migrating, you can get, for example, 6K for the migration of this workload. But this 3 months really depends on the business case, but typically on average is around 3 months of the workload being migrated. On top of that, and Andre will give you more information, you're eligible for partner funding. So we partially fund an APN partner, a specialist working with startups and migrating workloads like CloudHero, for example, to accelerate your migration. And finally, support credits. So that's for transferring a workload to AWS. But of course, it doesn't stop there. Dynamic company like a startup. So as it stands now, we have AWS Jumpstart. Essentially, this program is here to help you once you find the right partner for you and you have a project that stands in the family of the services that are in the top bubble, so analytics. So this could be like an ETL tool or a data warehouse, data lake, then IoT, then adapting our machine learning stack. That could be SageMaker or other off-the-shelf tools like Personalize or Comprehend. Then our container services from Kubernetes or simply ECS and other container tools. And finally, the non-relational databases. When you would like to accelerate timelines with the help of, again, an AWS startup-friendly savvy partner, and you want to have your team focus on innovation, AWS wants to support this plan. We see this as best practice, and we provide at this point 50% funding advice for the funding assistance, for the partner services. So my call to action, if you want to start building with the help of CloudHero, my call to action would be redeem your free 60 minutes office hour with a CloudHero solutions architect. Andre will tell you more about it, and he will also share the link. This is a way to understand more about like the programs and also, okay, I have this workload, what next? What benefits am I eligible for? And how can CloudHero help me build a nice strategy about doing this in the most efficient in terms of cost and price and effective way. So that's all for me. It was 16 minutes. I hope I didn't rush too much. Andre, over to you, and I'm happy to take the questions at the end.
All right. Thank you so much, Constantina. Definitely, I think they are very valuable. Even for us as partners, all the programs that AWS offers. And at the end of the day, if you want to build something, you have all the resources and primitives to build. So now go build something. Great. I'm gonna continue with my presentation. Just a second. Where I'm gonna talk about how we leverage those programs and what's our process. And I'm gonna start with a real story from one of our customers to put everything into context. Do you see my presentation, Constantina? Does it work?
Yeah, thank you.
Great. All right. So hi again. As mentioned earlier, my name is Andrei Mana. I'm the CEO of CloudHero, which is a DevOps consultancy and professional services company focused mostly on AWS. That's where we are an AWS Advanced partner. we have a customer called Wadev, and they wanted to modernize their workloads with containers and AWS EKS. AWS EKS, it's the managed Kubernetes version from AWS. And this is Alex. Alex is the CEO of Wadev. And he reached out to us because asking, why do we have so much downtime? They have a SaaS. I recommend you should check this platform. It's a tool for developers. So he was asking, why do we have so much downtime? Why it does not scale? They were running their infrastructure on top of a smaller cloud provider. So basically, now you can see the logo of the small cloud provider. So basically, their environment was a PHP monolithic app running on virtual servers. They had some MySQL databases that they were managing, and all the operations were manually, and it was running on DigitalOcean. So basically, the challenges that they had were like lack of infrastructure stability, they had scalability issues, they had slow software release cycles, and poor developer productivity. And the mean time to recovery was pretty long because they didn't have observability built in. So their objective and our objective together were to have an infrastructure platform that can help their business. Should be fully containerized to reduce the complexity, should be auto-scalable, running on top of Kubernetes, and should use managed services. So basically, having in mind those objectives, our solution was to put them on top of AWS. So basically, to get them accommodated with AWS, we leverage a program called POC, Proof of Concept, which is 100% founded by AWS. We created a Kubernetes POC. During the POC, we put their workloads in containers. They tested, they saw that everything performs well. Then we migrated to EKS on top of AWS. So it was basically a slightly modernization and a migration. Then we migrate from standalone self-managed MySQL to Amazon Aurora, which is the Amazon managed MySQL offering. And everything was deployed using Terraform. So it was infrastructure as a code. Later, they went into Y Combinator, and they accessed the $100,000 in Activate credits. And that was because they were on AWS. So the results for them were quite impactful. They had a 95% reduction in downtime. So that was huge. The mean time to recovery was less than 4 minutes, up to 2 hours. So basically, downtime from time to time occurs and bad events you have, but it's important how fast you can recover from those events. And having your website, your application down for less than 4 minutes, it's way better than having it more than 2 hours. They had a huge increase in developer productivity. So basically, developers were able to focus more on writing the code and shipping in production faster. And they had a total reduction in infrastructure cost of around 45% in less than 2 months because of the features that AWS provides compared to smaller cloud providers. You can have like spot instances, you can have instance reservation. There are a lot of financial optimizations that you have once you have an understanding on what you need from an infrastructure perspective. So besides Wadev, we are working with a lot of small to large companies. So for those that are in Europe, maybe they heard about Emag, which is one of the largest e-commerce platform, and we've built the cloud platform and the Kubernetes setup for them, Vodafone's, and a lot of other companies. So what's our framework? What you should expect when it comes to modernization? So basically, we have 3 stages. The first stage is the assess stage, where we do an infrastructure assessment. We have some tools, internal tools that we built to leverage these assessment tools. Then we leverage the AWS programs. Once we assess, once we have an understanding on your infrastructure, then we will think on, okay, what AWS program you can use in order to migrate or in order to modernize or in order to scale. And that will be the POC, the Startup Migrate, the Jumpstart, the MAP, Migration Accelerator program, all the programs that Constantina spoke a bit earlier. Then we do the mobilize. Basically, mobilize means that we set up the infrastructure. It's called landing zone. We set up like the landing zone where infrastructure will be deployed. Then we put Kubernetes. We do again some POCs in order to make sure that everything works. And then we have the migrate phase. We have customers like Waydev where you migrated to AWS as fast as 2 hours. So, and it's a complex infrastructure. It was in production. The migration was done without downtime. So it can be done. Of course, we will realize that based on the assessment. But here's a video from Alex telling us how he migrated in 2 hours. I won't play it now, but I will share the presentation later so we can have a look at it. Just a second, because I think, okay, great. Then for those that are not so much into greenfield deployments, maybe they have some applications running. They've been running those applications for some time now. We call them legacy applications. They might not be that legacy, but like large monolithic applications. We've noticed a lot of like the migration analysis paralysis. So basically, business looking to modernize applications have questions. Should we migrate our legacy applications to Kubernetes? Should we break the workloads to microservices before migrating to the cloud, before migrating to Kubernetes? How do we get started with microservices? Because this is one of the topics where cloud comes with a lot of infrastructure assets that can help you modernize your workload. So based on our experience, I think the fastest way to modernize application is first migrate to Kubernetes on a lift and shift approach. So we have an offering where we take like any monolithic app and we put it on Kubernetes, and then you have the primitives required in order to start. So just a second. If you Google like EKS migrate, you're gonna see on the first page, of course, first it's AWS, but the second result should be from our website, where we have where we describe this process, and you can have a look on what it represents. So why CloudHero? Because we're in the context of AWS, we're an AWS Advanced partner. We have some specialities, or to say certifications for them. One, it's on the Kubernetes side, so EKS delivery. And the other, it's on the managed database, RDS delivery. We're the first partner in EMEA to have the container Black Belt, which is a container-related certifications, more than 30 certified engineers. We have the eligibility for the MAP, which is one of the migration programs that provides you in credit and various other financial incentives and discounts. We have the EKS lift and shift, and we have some security audit offerings. We focused on the CE, but have customers globally. So regardless where your infrastructure is, have customers from Australia, France, Germany, Romania, UAE, the UK, and the US. So we're pretty familiar covering the entire globe. As Constantina said, there's an action item. So if you don't know how to start, we are giving you a free therapy session. The IT infrastructure therapy, basically, it's a 1 hour session with one of our lead solution architects, which is free, it's super secure, it's honest, and it's fast. It's just 1 hour. You don't have to be on AWS. So of course, if you didn't migrate, then you won't be on AWS. So it can be on-premise infrastructure, it can be on another infrastructure. And basically we will tell you, it will be like a pre-assessment, and we will tell you what improvements can you make if you have any challenges, and why AWS should be a good fit for you. So this is Andrei, my partner and my colleague, which is leading the DevOps team, and he will do this free therapy. So if you want, you can scan the QR code, or you can use the link. It's the bit.ly link. I will send also the presentation on an email after this and with a link. So yeah, thank you so much. In the name of our entire team, we moved super fast with the presentation. Now, I think we can do a QA. Great.
There aren't any questions in the chat. I don't think people can unmute themselves, right?
Yes. So basically, not sure. There are questions. Okay. Okay. Great. Everything is working. Okay. So does anyone have a question, or if you want to, you can raise your hand and we will click on the allow to talk. Okay. So Martin has a question. I'm clicking on the allow to talk. So Martin, I think we can.
Hi guys.
Hey.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, thanks a lot for the webinar. It was very useful for us. Like we feel the problems on the side of the startup as well. Like my question was like one of the simple one. How can we redeem our free session with the architect? So what's the next step to do that? Because we really need to go to.
That's a very good question. So feel free to, I'm going to paste the link here. I'm going to send it over the email. I'm going to paste it in the chat as well. So not sure how I can paste the message, but I'm gonna send it over the email.
Okay. Maybe you can share the screen on the QR code side.
Yes,
as well.
Yes, I'm gonna share the screen again. Okay, so screen share.
We already started with our migration to AWS.
All right.
We migrated a lot of stuff, but we want to finish it up completely. So we wanted someone to double check if everything what we're doing is okay or not, or if he has some
That's a very good
suggestions for us. So
so Phil, can you see my screen now?
Yeah.
All right. So try to scan that QR code. If it doesn't
if you can send it over email, it would be better because I'm on my phone. I can scan it.
All right.
I need a really complicated mirror to do that.
Okay. Yes. All right. So all right. I'm gonna put it in the chat as well and send it over the email. Great. Thank you so much, Martin.
Thank you, guys.
If there are any other questions, just raise your hand.
We have Sebastian.
Sebastian, just a second, Sebastian. All right.
And thanks for the great question, Martin. I think the most important thing is that people know how to book the session afterwards.
Hi, Sebastian. Can you?
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Hi. Right. So thanks a lot for the presentation. I actually didn't know that AWS had so many freebies, so to speak. The point-on question that I have is the VMware engine service that AWS provides as well, is this eligible for any of the let's say, quote unquote, startup tiers that you guys, that AWS actually gives away?
Maybe Konstantin, you can take it first, and then I can give my thoughts on that, because we did some VMware migration.
Yeah, thank you, Sebastian. This is a great question. So I know we have some VMware specific programs that we can dive deeper into your 1 hour free consultation if you like, because we work really closely with the VMware team actually. So let's understand a little bit more about the use case and see the right program for you, because as I said, essentially these freebies, as you said very rightly, However, it is our role to find the right program for you, right? And if a VMware program will give you more benefits compared to the others, then maybe that's the one for you. Andre?
Yeah, that's perfect. So there are way more programs than we presented now, focus also towards enterprise, and VMware has a program, and some of the times you can mix the programs to get extra benefits. I think VMware also, it's part of the map. So if you have a consumption over 500K per year, then you are eligible for a program called MAP, and then you have a lot of discounts for SAP, for VMware, for whatever. But I think the best way to do it is to have a chat with my colleague Andre, book a meeting, have a look on your infrastructure, and then if we can come up with an answer fast, we'll come. Otherwise, we'll speak with the teams from AWS and come up with one of the best programs for you.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Great. Are there any other questions?
If there are no other questions, I just wanted to add one comment that what Sebastian brought up is really important, that we have these programs, but there are so many other. We just did a startup specific session today with Andre because we didn't want to go through a massive supermarket list of programs, but that's why we really want to talk to you because everything we do starts from your requirements and your infrastructure needs at the moment. So it's important to understand your project and then find the right program that would fit your needs. So these programs could span up across like technical needs, so VMware, for example, or vertical needs. So if you're in fintech, we may have a fintech program, or it can be a geographical program, for example. So yeah, just don't hesitate to book a session. We'll be there to be able to understand how we can best support you. And if I'm not your account manager, we'll connect you with the AWS account manager that your account is essentially assigned to.
Great. All right then. I think we can have a wrap earlier, as if there are no more other questions. We will send the presentation on email, and we're gonna send also the recording on email. I think tomorrow. So yeah, feel free to book your infrastructure therapy with my colleague Andre, and then we'll try to see what program will fit for you from AWS, and if there are any other infrastructure related challenges, we'll try to address them within that session. So thank you so much, Constantina. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending this. You also have my email address when I send the invite, so feel free to reach out whenever you have any particular questions on AWS or on DevOps/infrastructure.
Thank you for having me, Andre. Thanks everyone for joining. I hope you found this session useful, and yeah, let's jump on this IT therapy. I love the therapy choice of word to better support your needs. Have a great rest of the day.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.